the Garden of Life. It was early in the morning. The sun rose slowly. It was bright. The sky was clear. The flowers were in bloom. You could see the roses. Red, yellow, and pink. They were everywhere, weren't they? They smelled sweet. Their petals were soft. The colors were so bright. It was like the garden was painted in colors. The roses were strong, weren't they? They stood tall. The leaves were dark green. There were other flowers, too. Daisies grew in groups. They were white. They looked simple, didn't they? But they were beautiful. The petals were pure white. The centers were yellow. You could see them everywhere in the garden. The daisies moved when the wind blew, didn't they? They bent gently. There were lilies, tall and thin. The flowers were white and yellow. They looked like stars. Some lilies were orange. They shone brightly. They had a strong scent, didn't they? It filled the garden. In the garden you could see trees. There were oak trees. They were very tall. The branches spread wide. The leaves were dark green. They made shadows. It was cool under the oak trees, wasn't it? You could sit under them and rest. There were also maple trees. They were tall, too. In the fall, their leaves turned red, yellow, and orange. It looked like fire on the trees, didn't it? The maple leaves fell slowly. They covered the ground. There were pine trees. They were different. Their leaves were long and sharp. They were green all year. Even in the winter, weren't they? The pine trees smelled fresh. You could hear the wind in them. The wind made a soft sound. It was like music, wasn't it? The pine trees never moved. They stood still and strong. The bees were busy. They flew from flower to flower. They made a buzzing sound. You could see the butterflies, too. They flew lightly. They landed on the flowers. Everything moved together. The bees, the butterflies, the flowers. Everything had a rhythm, didn't it? The air was fresh. The sun was warm. It was the perfect day. You could hear birds in the trees. They sang songs. The birds were small, but their voices were big. They sang all day, didn't they? The sound filled the garden. It was peaceful. The sky turned blue in the afternoon. The sun was high. The flowers stretched out their petals. They were alive, weren't they? They followed the sun from morning to night. The trees stood still, watching over everything. The grass was soft and green. The leaves on the trees moved gently with the wind. The air smelled fresh, full of flowers and trees. Thanks.